Here we are close up on the Shadow 2009 next to the 2008. Its slide mechanism is real smooth. In fact, I've had this Shadow for about a year now, and its slide mechanism is still good. There's a little bit of play, and this 2009 feels very, very smooth. Many of the buttons are in the same place as the 2008. Got the camera button, the shortcut key button. On the other side we have the volume keys, as well as the micro SD slot. At the top now is a power button, and as you can see, they have moved the USB adapter socket from the left side to the bottom, which many people prefer, and it works better with a lot of the charging stations. Inside of there is one plug for the mini USB. It's got a nice color fade on the back here from burgundy to black. They've also moved the camera to the center, as you can see, and there's the speaker port. It's not as open as it was before. Okay, the keyboard is real nice. The numbers are highlighted with white. The Alt key, it's a 20 key keyboard. Can't see much difference between the layout. There aren't any differences on the keys, except on the star key it says T9 instead of the lock right there. And on the 1 key there is a voicemail icon. Now on the front, the buttons are a little bit different. There's still the scroll wheel. The button for the scroll wheel is much bigger, but the send, end, back, and home keys aren't as pronounced as they were on the old Shadow, so hopefully we'll have less of those unintentional calls. This D-pad also has an up, left, right, and down directional, and then there's the soft keys right here. These are more pronounced than on the old Shadow. The back cover is a bit odd, so I'm wondering how this is going to play out for extended batteries with their optional covers. On the old Shadow, you just had this small piece that comes off. This one, the Shadow 2009, you push down and up on this cover to remove it. That's flat, just a really thin little piece, so I'm wondering if that thing will loosen up over time. We already have a SIM card in there, and battery that is 1100 milliamp hours, which is 200 milliamp hours larger, roughly larger than the old Shadow. Here's a nice close-up view of the Shadow 2009. It's got nice smooth corners, it has a good feel to it. The scroll wheel is it's about the same size, but the button in the center is bigger. The buttons aren't as pronounced as they were on the 2008 Shadow. Many of the other buttons are in the same places. The volume, there's the micro SD HC card slot. The documentation says it supports up to 8 gigabytes, but if you understand the SDHC format, you'll know that it will support up to 32 gigabytes. There's a power button on the side here, shortcut key, and the camera button, along with the micro USB or the mini USB port on the bottom, as well as the lanyard loop. The slide function is real nice. And here's the key layout. See a difference here. There's a T9 where there used to be a lock. Pressing that actually locks the screen, as well as the voicemail button for 1. For those of you that might have noticed, there's some pink bars up here. That represents the UMA capability of the Shadow 2009, which means you can make calls over Wi-Fi networks. Pretty much like voice over IP, except you don't need some third-party app and another username and a login, and you don't have to buy credits. You just sign up for their $9.95 or $10 plan on T-Mobile, and anywhere you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can make calls. So if you don't have a signal, a cell phone signal, this comes in really handy. Another benefit to this is people that work deep inside office buildings where you don't have a signal, or students whose universities have free Wi-Fi networks. Basically, all you have to do is add the network, the Wi-Fi network, to your phone, and you'll be able to make calls over it. Now, T-Mobile customer care told me that we needed the T-Mobile router to use the hotspot at home service, but I don't have one of those, and it's worked just fine. And I called Brandon a moment ago over the Wi-Fi network. I walked out of range of the Wi-Fi network. The call was seamlessly transferred to the cell network, and then when I walked back within range, it was seamlessly transferred back over the Wi-Fi network. So you don't have to really worry about the call being dropped. Now here you can see the Burgundy Neo interface. This phone is about half a second to a second more responsive than the Shadow 2008. Each one of these panes helps you get to a specific feature quicker. You can go through your photos. You can access your music from the home screen or some internet options. Deal with your appointments, deal with messaging, your calls, or your My Faves people. You can, since this is Windows 6.1, you can use the sliding panel interface for Windows 6.1. Each one of these panels is similar to the Neo interface. You can go through your appointments, calls. There's a getting started pane that helps you get the phone set up for email, device lock, Bluetooth. Speaking of Bluetooth, it does support the stereo Bluetooth profile. You could also access your songs and library as well as your images. Here's a picture taken with the camera of the Shadow 2008. And it's very responsive. The pictures just slide by. Or you can access your profiles, communication manager, and so on. There's also a setting where you can just display your recent programs when you hit the start key, or you can access all programs. For the Java monkeys out there, you'd be pleased to know that the Java application is JBlend, so that gives us a little bit more room to work with when it comes to 3D Java game. For the business-minded folk out there, this phone does have Office Mobile on it, so you'll be able to access Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and OneNote. The Task Manager is fairly quick to access. You can end all tasks, so you don't need a third-party program to do this. So let's do a side-by-side speed test of the 2008 and the 2009 Shadow so you can see how responsive it is. You can see that on the Neo interface, the 2009 brings up the results a lot quicker. Let's go to the images. Accessing the media library. Much quicker on the 2009. The screen is 1.6 inches, 320 by 240 pixels. It's a 64K QVGA display. It's a quad-band world phone, so it will work over 850, 900, 1800, and 1900 megahertz using GSM, GPRS, Edge, and Wi-Fi. It doesn't have 3G. You can sync it with Outlook on your PC, and if you connect it to a Windows Vista PC, you won't need Microsoft ActiveSync or even Windows Mobile Device Center to use the phone as a USB memory key. It does have stereo Bluetooth capability. It does have speakerphone and voice-activated dialing. It does handle My Faves, so you can still have that interface that you're used to. And it's available in white, mint, and black burgundy finishes. So if you have some additional questions that I haven't covered in this video, please post them in the comments, and I'll be sure to go over them in the next one. Be sure to check our site for more tips, tricks, hacks, mods, and valuable reviews for T-Mobile smartphones. Until next time, I'm Mike Benton for AllShadow.com.